Welcome back. Today, we're delving into the world of customer experience and resolve the question what this guy, Markus Rühl, and his supplement brand has to do with all this. Our aim is to explore the three fundamental elements that shape the field of customer experience: touchpoints, context, and qualities. Firstly, what exactly is customer experience? Customer experience is the sum of all subjectively perceived interactions between a customer and a provider, before, during, and after service utilization. While considering the context in which the interaction is happening as well as the qualities that reflect the nature of customer reactions to the provider. Now let us start with the first building block, touchpoints, by looking at the example of Markus Rühl's supplement brand. There are three dimensions. The first one is called stage and consists of pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase, indicating in which stage an interaction takes place. Secondly, we have nature. This differentiates whether an interaction takes place in person, over a digital medium, or even physical. Lastly, we have the dimension control, which look at whether a touchpoint is within the control of the company or not. To make this clearer, let us look at examples for touchpoints that Markus Rühl has with his customers. Let us take the website as an example. To categorize this touchpoint, we have defined where the touchpoint occurs within the three dimensions. To make this easier, you can ask yourself these three questions. What is the nature of the interaction? Is it a face-to-face interaction, a digital one, or physical? Who is in control of the interaction? Is the firm in control or not? And lastly, in what stage is the customer in contact with the touchpoint? Before, during, or after the purchase? The online shop obviously is of a digital nature as it is a website, and it is fully in the control of the firm as they control the content of the website. Customers will be interacting with the website mostly during the pre-purchasing phase to, for example, look up product details or prices. Therefore, the online shop is a digital, firm-controlled touchpoint that occurs mainly in the pre-purchase stage. Let us look at another touchpoint. Imagine the following scenario: a fitness exhibition where customers can physically meet Markus Rühl and his supplement brand. In this case, we have a face-to-face interaction that is within the control of the company. As the customer has not yet bought anything, we are in the pre-purchase phase. Therefore, the fitness exhibition is a human, firm-controlled touchpoint that occurs mainly in the pre-purchase phase. Understanding these dimensions provides a clearer picture of the diverse touchpoints within the brand experience. Moving on to the second building block, context. Customer experience is inherently context-dependent. The contexts range from individual context to social context, market context, to environmental context. Individual context is reflected, for example, in a personal interest or knowledge you happen to have. In our example, this could be an extensive knowledge about fitness, interest in bodybuilding, or your own capabilities in bodybuilding. This fundamentally influences how you perceive certain touch points. Is the 2-hour podcast about supplementation relevant to you, or is it just useless information as you do not care about any of the topics? The next layer is the social context of a customer. What are topics that your social media bubble, friends, or family are invested in? Is your mom telling you that taking creatine is like taking steroids, or is your bubble supportive of nutrition supplementation and generally frames it as positive or even necessary? Do you exercise regularly together with your friends and eventually get encouraged by them to consume supplementation products? The third context is the market context. In our example, we are in the supplementation and bodybuilding market. The main forces here would be the gym you go to and other supplement brands. Your gym may be offering supplementation from other brands or recommend you to buy a certain brand. What experiences, good or bad, have you made with other supplement brands? This in turn will also influence how you will perceive and how often you will interact with this brand. The last layer is the environment layer, which is the macro perspective. For example, general socio-cultural trends can heavily impact your views. An example for such a trend could be that Generation Z is more conscious about nutrition or are encouraging going to the gym and being invested in your health and fitness. The important takeaways are that each of the various touchpoints that we talked about earlier occurs within a context unique to every single individual, significantly shaping their perception as reflected within service-dominant logic as well. A company can only throw out a value proposition. How you perceive what is offered highly depends on your unique context. Finally, we arrive at the third building block, qualities. Qualities are attributes reflecting customer responses to brand interactions. The dimensions include participation level, dimensionality, valence, ordinariness, and time flow. Participation levels reflect customers' involvement with the brand. For instance, being vocal on social media about a specific brand or actively contribute to a community would be an examples that signify high participation. In our example, there are a lot of meme pages on, for example, Instagram about Markus Rühl and his brand, signifying very high levels of participation. Next up, we have dimensionality. Dimensionality acknowledges that customer experience combines emotional and cognitive elements. It describes how strong the emotional and cognitive connection to a brand is. In our example, a lot of customers are very passionate about the bodybuilding industry and are fans of Markus Rühl as he is one of the most famous bodybuilders. If you are passionate about the persona Markus Rühl, you are also very likely to be highly invested emotionally in his brand. Let us move on. Valence considers whether interactions with the company are considered to be positive, neutral, or negative. As we discussed earlier, each interaction between a brand and a customer is a touch point. A positive interaction in our example could be the natural taste of the product itself, considered to be a positive product feature. A negative interaction could be the packaging of the products, which is considered to be of lower quality by some customers. Imagine how you feel if you cannot dose the product appropriately without having a mess. Ordinariness describes how special a touch point feels to the customer. An example for an extraordinary touch point would be when Markus Rühl himself is arranging personal encounters on exhibitions shows. Or, for example, offers personal trainings where customers can have a one-on-one training session with him in the gym. An ordinary touch point, on the other hand, would be, for example, if you just visit the website. This does not feel special at all compared to the other examples, right? Lastly, we have time flow. Time flow examines whether interactions are brief and short-lived or extended over a long period of time. In our example, through the constant contact through various channels and high engagement of the community around Markus Rühl, we have a prolonged and loyal customer-brand relationship. In conclusion, understanding customer experience is vital for cultivating long-term, loyal customers. Being aware of all the different touch points with your customer is crucial. However, equally as important is knowing that the perception of those interactions are highly dependent on the context of the individual customer. Lastly, the different dimensions of the building block qualities are giving us a way to evaluate touchpoint and could show us where we are doing good within the whole customer experience and on which touchpoints we may have to work on. I hope this was helpful to you, and as always, thanks for watching. Until next time.